Hey everybody, welcome back to Five Boys in Business, a podcast where we talk about the business, the family, and the many shenanigans involved. You can catch us most Mondays, somewhere around 11:30, somewhere in there, depending on schedules.
Yep.
And on any of the podcast channels. Of course, you can listen on any of the podcast channels. So you can hear us there.
There you go. Speaking of,
Don't forget,
go ahead.
which now when I look back at it, Harrison, on our previous podcast, Rumble and Parler were all things. So now we need to be on those channels too. But anyway, don't forget to check us out on asvcmerch.com. I'm Emily King.
I'm Richie King.
And we are here to chat today.
And speaking of channels, we have a big announcement to make. We are
Moving
moving.
off of the All-Star Facebook page.
Yeah, we're not moving. We're still here. We're just going to be in a different spot.
Oh yeah, I collectively just heard my mom go, "What?"
Right.
And Dad go, "What? You're moving?" No, yeah.
No,
Mom,
not moving. Just moving the podcast.
Moving the podcast from the All-Star Facebook page to
its own
Facebook page.
Yeah. So the Five Boys into Business will now have its own Facebook page and YouTube channel and everything else.
So yeah. And
So we'll have links probably.
we have these awesome new microphones now.
Yeah, a lot of big changes. We have that announcement. We got some
So hopefully
new mics
it's more pleasant to your ears when you're
I really
listening.
dig. I've been wanting these Shure mics for a while, and
He's
new
been saving
booms.
up his dollars.
That's right. So we have that. Some small set changes, but yeah, it's all good. Everything's a lot of new changes for the new year. So
Harrison, what did we forget? Something else with that when we're
As
moving?
far as I know, that's it. But for anybody who would like to follow the new channels from the, as they said, we're no longer doing the podcast on the All-Star page. A formal video will be going up later this week with the announcement. But I have all the links in the description below this video / podcast. So if you guys want to click on and follow the Five Boys in a Business YouTube channel, the Five Boys in a Business Clips channel, and the Five Boys in a Business Facebook page, you can do so. So
Tell everybody what the clips are.
why don't you guys talk real quick while I pull it up?
So
do we have time for a fun Calvin story?
yeah,
or no?
tell me a Calvin story.
Okay.
Never mind that. Hold that thought. Oh, also, can I just say something really quick? You were
Sure.
going to say something, but then I said there wasn't enough time, and then I was going to say something.
Go ahead, Dr. King.
So, okay, I'll wait. Go ahead,
What?
Harrison. Clips, because there's not enough time. He's got them so fast. He pulled them up. Yes, go ahead, Harry.
So this is the Five Boys in a Business Clips YouTube channel. This is where all of the highlights of / clips, the best clips of each podcast go. So you can go here, click on the videos tab, and you can just see a few of the best highlights / clips. So last week you had Garen Catholic changing their graduation, Dr. King and Richie's New Year's resolutions. Richie doesn't do house chores.
Yes, I do.
So
It was the opposite day. we put that up.
What is it? You said that you had a trailer. What's that look like?
yeah, the trailer I had. So YouTube makes it so you can have a channel trailer for each channel, and so I won't play the audio because if you want to hear the audio, go to the channel. But
Well,
Oh, suspenseful. Hey, that's my sister.
Calvin. Hey.
What you don't? But when you're watching it on YouTube, you hear the audio.
yes,
Obviously.
yes.
Okay.
So pretty much, in the beginning, they just go over,
Some funny things.
yeah, some funny things and like kind of reminiscing about the past year and a half of the podcast, which is why I show those old clips.
Got it.
So
That reminds me of that Bert Kreischer joke where he's on a news channel and he said he's dating this girl one time that wasn't very intelligent, and she said to him one day, she goes, "If you're on an airliner and it's going faster than the speed of sound, can people hear each other?" He goes, "Yeah, Chris, that's what you do. You have a chart. What's wrong? I need a Coke." That's so funny.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay, for all you people who really wanted to see Richie's report card, he conveniently forgot it today. And
I'll
so
bring it next week.
we were crying. We were laughing so hard with that part of the podcast last week.
If you want to see repeat instances of the fifth letter of the alphabet, that's
Listen,
That's
I
it.
said, because you said, oh, that's embarrassing. I just can't show it. And I said, no, yes,
No,
you
okay.
need
The
to show
story was from 10th grade. You said 8th grade.
it. Okay, whatever. Eighth
Our
grade,
eighth grade
10th
was bad,
grade,
too.
Ninth grade, 10th grade.
Every
When
grade
did
was
it ever
bad.
get better? Maybe when you were in college?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
What?
Okay, so what I was saying was it's inspiration for all of us mothers who worry about our sons and whether or not they're going to be able to pull themselves out of educational dismal performance and be productive members of society.
Right.
And so you are just affirmation that it is possible. So you should not be embarrassed by
Anything's,
that. But yeah,
anything's possible.
yeah, you should be out there being like, it can happen. Don't
You know,
worry.
it's funny because as a quick aside, it's funny because I remember thinking of high school as much more of an obstacle than a destination. I knew in the back of my mind I was going to go to college somehow,
Right.
but just getting out of high school was just never like, I just didn't care. It wasn't.
Right.
So anyway, so I guess that gives context to you're here, but you can always go here.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
That's
so
it.
anyway, so he has promised to bring that next
I'll bring
week.
it.
So we have that.
If you
Now,
want
you
some.
before we started, you said you were going to tell a Calvin story.
Oh, today.
Before
'cause,
we start with the story, I made something for this week.
are you done?
For this exact reason.
What did we make? Yep,
An
I'm ready.
intro. Let's see what you got.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dead air. Pregnant pause.
Okay, we're having some difficulties. Continue.
Technical
Ten.
difficulties. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties.
Well, we could talk about. I mean, as he sets this up, I can talk about another story. We happened to go out of town. Emily and I. Oh, well, here we go. Okay, Emily and I were headed out of town this weekend. Just she and I together, which is not. It's pretty rare. We don't often go away without the kids for any period of time. And of course, the day before we leave, the dishwasher dies.
Dishwasher dead.
And I was like, it doesn't. It's just dead. Nothing happens. Nothing.
Which is not good when you leave men alone in a house.
So, but to their credit, when we came back, everything was cool. But as far as appliance failures go, I will take a dishwasher failure over a clothes washer, dryer, any of that stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the clothes simply do not stop. One can wash dishes and make, a bit more time, a bit more labor, but it's not that big a deal. So the other things can be, you gonna play it?
Richie's story time.
So anyway, on our trip, we went on a trip to Tennessee this weekend, and every other place I'd looked at real briefly for appliances. I mean, everywhere I looked, there's only a few big box places anymore to do it. And I looked at Best Buy. It was going to be middle of this week before you could even get it.
Right.
So anyway, while we were in Tennessee, we went to a place where we bought appliances before.
Patterson's.
Looked at it, bought it. Patterson's in
is
Harriman,
awesome.
Tennessee.
Yep.
And we talked to John
Patterson.
Bilber, I think.
Bilber.
He sold us a bunch of other things. But
Yeah.
we went down there and bought it, and we saw the unit we liked. He goes, I think I've got one at the warehouse. So we drove a few miles down to the street to the warehouse, put it in the back of the car, done.
Went to Tennessee, came back with a dishwasher.
In a box, ready to roll.
So
And it was cute because when we went to pick it up, and
oh yes, it
this
was
old
so cute.
gentleman
Yeah.
that worked at Patterson's at their Scratch and Dent place. Their Scratch and Dent location is the same place where their main warehouse is.
Right.
So anyway, we walk in there, and this older guy was bringing this out, and we were going to load it, and it's not that heavy. But he wouldn't let Emily lift it. He goes, "Don't just get away." Get
Now
away.
I'm gonna have to. What he said? He
I'm gonna
goes,
whip you.
I'm gonna whip you. You get away from that dishwasher. And I was like, no, you are not lifting this dishwasher. When
So
I
we
came
did
up
it.
lifting the dishwasher, is what I told him. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna have to whip you.
Right. So it was
He was
cute.
super cute and very appreciative.
But yeah, so we got that, and I will have the task of installing that the next day or so.
Yep.
So
we had bought enough paper plates to
yeah,
sustain
when I
us
bought
until
those
then.
Thursday night, I bought like 70 plates and 72 bowls. I was like, there's no way they're gonna go through that many plates and bowls in a week in basically a day and a half.
Right.
And they didn't, so it was good.
So yeah, got that done. What was your Calvin story? You said you were going to tell a Calvin story.
Or do you want to do the
I
intro?
think I'm ready. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, you think
All
you're
right.
ready? Okay.
Act like
Go.
you're doing it again. Go ahead.
Okay. What, like he's telling a Calvin story?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
tell me the
reverse.
story, Richard.
Start with the story.
Yep.
No,
start
no,
with
no.
it.
Just
No.
say what you were gonna say. Just be like,
Okay.
just be like, yeah, I was gonna tell a Calvin story.
Oh, okay. I've got a Calvin story for you.
Well, wait, Dad, I made something that last week.
Let's see it, Harrison.
It's Richie's story time.
That's funny.
There you go. Okay, hit us. Story
Okay,
time.
so today we're sitting there at the island, and he was doing his math, and he was listening to the song that he wanted to listen to.
Right.
And he looks up at it and he goes, "Dad, I think I want to get an earring." I was like, "No, you're not getting an earring." I was like, "You're 9. No, we're getting an earring." And he's looking at me. He goes, "Why not?" And I go, "Because I used to have earrings, and you're not getting one." He goes, "You did?" I go, "Yeah." And I showed him my ear, and he goes, "Oh." As if I had some, some
Oh my
others.
God! Why did he want an earring?
I don't know. TikTok, YouTube. I don't know.
Something he didn't say why
No.
he wanted one.
No.
Oh my gosh!
This is a funny story, and this is a throwback to the '80s. A buddy of mine in high school, David Hankins, he was about 3 or 4 years behind me, but MTV came out in '81, and he had been watching MTV, and I think he was in the 4th grade or 5th grade or something like that. He was in elementary school, and he was watching MTV and told his mom, he goes, "Hey, I want to get an earring." She goes, "All right." So she takes him to the mall, or he gets an earring somehow. I don't remember how he got one. He was young. He's probably Calvin's age. So he goes to school wearing an earring, and they kick him out of school. And his mom had to go talk to the principal and the superintendent and all this stuff so that Dave Hank could go to school in probably 1982 or 3 with
With an earring.
an earring.
People have to used to put Band-Aids on them and stuff. Do you
I know,
remember
so
that?
stupid.
I'm like, what's the difference
You go into a
between the
grocery store and that, it's
Band-Aid
like,
and
oh my
the
God,
earring?
really? Okay.
Yeah. it was
What's
pretty
worse, a
comical.
band? I mean, a lot of ear injuries in this grocery store. What do you guys walk through and snag on a nail in the back or something? So stupid. Right? I mean, you have to cover it up.
Yeah,
So dumb. It's like, or you can just take it out. I mean, unless you just got it, you can take it out.
Right. That's pretty hilarious.
So, anyway.
I will give kudos to Holden because he did take care of
Yeah, he took care of Calvin.
Calvin
for us.
all weekend and did a great job. And
Although we did get a text on the way home yesterday. He's like, when are you guys coming home?
oh
And
yeah,
I said, we're driving now. And he said, just one word response, good. It's like, all right, well,
he
got home,
he
everything's
took him
cool.
to the Garrett basketball game on Friday night,
Yep.
and they had a good time. And then he took him to Urban Air with Evelyn on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and Trevor went, and they all had a great time there. So I think Calvin had a good weekend
yeah.
of entertainment.
Yeah. He was glad to see us, though, I think, when we got back. He was, first thing he did was grab my phone and turn on TikTok. I'm like, dude, all right.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think he missed us as much as our devices, maybe.
He looked tired, I thought,
Yeah.
yesterday. I don't think he slept great while we were gone. But anyway, we have another Calvin story. On TikTok, as we talk about that, he had ordered these things called,
Juicy juices. No, juicy fruits. No, juicy.
no, that's not it.
Juicy something.
Anyway, he'd been waiting a long time for them.
Like 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks or so. And he watched some guy on TikTok.
Fruity snacks.
Yeah, but they were called
They were called something.
juicy juice or juicy fruit or
Because they weren't real. It wasn't like juice. It was like,
Jello juice.
yeah, like Julie. They were gross. Anyway, FYI. Not very good.
Yeah.
But,
So
Anyway, he got them, and
Yeah.
I sent Harry some pictures of them. So excited, and it was funny because he was tracking them, or somebody was tracking them, and it said, "Oh, they got delivered yesterday." And I was like, I don't know where they're at. And
Right.
this is before Trevor got up, and Trevor had gotten the mail for us the day before. So when he got up, I go, "Hey, did we get a box of these juicy things?" And he looked at me, and he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Where's the box?" He goes, "Well, I took the stuff out of the box and hid it up there." I'm like, well, "Dude, okay." So anyway, we got them the day after they were delivered, and Calvin was over the top with
yes.
excitement.
I think Anna said that they were at one of the
They're
Hispanic
sold at
stores,
one of the
weren't
stores
they?
they go to.
Yeah. And so so they refrigerated them, and then do you have the pictures of Calvin when he was
Yeah.
um
They're like little pouches. They're almost like, and you screw off the top. Yeah, and you kind of squeeze it.
so great? Not.
They're gross.
Did you try one?
Yeah.
And it was bad.
It's just the texture, just ugh. It's not good.
Oh,
What's funny here is that he doesn't even get it out. He just sucks on the bottom of it.
Well, I don't think he knew what to do. Because he said, "Why don't we bite it?" And I go, "No, don't bite it. Don't bite the middle of it."
That's what people do is they bite.
They bite
it.
them. Yeah,
Why?
so that's why he went outside because I was like, do that outside because he was going to put it sideways in his
Yeah.
mouth and then,
He goes, "Can I bite it like that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"No."
oh, he's giving it a thumbs up. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah. So you would have thought he was waiting for something. I don't know
The
what.
Red Ryder BB gun or
The
something.
Red Ryder. Yeah. Oh, God. But
It is absolutely fascinating, though, that these product manufacturers are able to capture, for whatever reason, capture the attention of the kids. I mean, it's probably not the manufacturers; it's probably personalities on that particular platform,
right.
that,
Right.
that push it.
And then that they got that, like that person that he watched, a lot of people were doing this with
Right.
these. And so then he was like, but that was probably just a random
Thing you saw,
selection from the YouTuber or the TikTok person,
right?
which has led to all these other people ordering. I mean, like, it's fascinating.
You know what else is interesting to me is, and I don't know what strategy this is. It's not like a push or pull. And I remember in college they talked about the push or pull strategy, and one of the strategies, the pull strategy, I think, was the Famous Amos case study.
Right.
Famous Amos, I think, was based out of Knoxville, and he started making cookies, and they became popular by word of mouth so much that people were asking for them
Right.
in grocery stores, and they said, "Oh, okay, well, we'll order them since there's a demand."
Right.
Where usually it's the opposite. You go at a national campaign and you push it through the market,
Right.
versus pull it. And it's I guess the distinction I'm trying to draw is that this is kind of an example of a very organic pull through strategy,
Right.
because you see it,
And
there's
then
a
you
link,
want it.
you click it, bam.
Right.
It's not like I'm gonna have to remember that next time I go to the store. It's immediate. Just
Right.
order it and go. Which is, I mean, all the YouTube people that I watch, I mean, not that I watch a ton, but I'll go through phases. I'll watch different people, and they all have links below every video of the things they used,
Right.
all that stuff from the affiliates. They'll
Right.
get a
Well, it
cut.
makes sense. Yeah.
It's cool.
I mean, it's so much easier than watching say back in the day when you would watch a talk show and somebody would talk about, like a health person's on there and they're talking about using this particular stuff to
Right.
whatever accomplish this, and you don't know where to find it. Like, that was the hardest part way back then. Now it's everything, you can just click on something because they've included the links or
Right.
whatever. You can't do that when you're watching TV. So when you're watching YouTube or some other device like that, or I guess platform like that,
Yeah.
it's so much easier to find what the person's talking about.
Yeah. It's instantaneous. I mean,
Yeah.
it's revolutionized. I mean, the way products are sold and marketed and all that stuff. Plus, it's fascinating because, like, for instance, if I'm watching a woodworking video, I'm probably interested in those things.
A woodworking video?
No, never. I'm
No.
probably interested in those things they're using.
Right.
So you've already identified your market. They could be interested in this. So, I mean, it's really cool. Instead of, I'm watching a show and it's advertising a product that I have no interest in, like, say, maybe it's a AARP commercial, something that doesn't apply to me.
Right.
And, but I guess that's the way it always was with mass media, though. Everything's scattershot. You say, well, a certain percentage of your targeted demographic watches it, but the other part, it's throwaway.
Right.
But yet you're spending money for those eyeballs.
Right.
So it's interesting. Fascinating. Speaking of watching television shows, in Tennessee, we watched a lot of the renovation shows.
Renovation shows. Yeah.
Yeah, on HGTV.
Yep. You love those.
What's fascinating to watch those, because we watch this one, and they always say, well, the house is worth this, and if you put this much in it, it'll be worth this. Okay, I get it. But then they show the budget, and then you watch the show, and you're like, there's no way you did that for 80 grand. I mean, maybe 200 grand.
Right.
No, you did that for 80 grand.
Well,
So it's
maybe
cool.
it's not the markup. Maybe it's just
No, it's part of the show. I get it, but
Right.
it's funny because it's interesting because people watch the show and you go, well, you could do all this for $85,000. Like, no, you can't. If you get free labor and materials, maybe, or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know about anybody else out there listening, but it seems like it's like horribly expensive for any of the major renovations. Like
God.
almost like,
I mean, a bathroom's 20 grand.
yeah,
Just
Or-
the bathroom.
Oh, no, more than that. I'd
Okay,
say
well,
for
25.
a lot of people, it's more, depending on the size of their bathroom. I mean,
If you're going to go in and depending on the size and what you do, but if you're going to go take everything down to studs and start over, it's going to be expensive.
right.
It's not cheap. I mean, So it's interesting when they'll go do and basically
What did
gut a whole
Madeline
house.
say? Like, you can, if you do the home improvements, you can expect to recover
Dollar for dollar if you do it yourself.
dollar for dollar if you do it yourself. If
If you
you're
hire it out, it's probably 50 cents.
right, there's some.
What is it? That sounds about right, Harry, doesn't it?
Harrison's like, I have no idea.
But the problem you run into, though, sometimes if you're a DIYer, unless you know what you're doing, it's going to look like a DIY job.
Right.
So, if you're
But depending on
your skill set.
the price value of the home too.
Right.
I mean, then some of that has to be, weighed. I mean, you don't want to overspend if you're in a particular price home and you put a $50,000 bathroom in a $200,000 house.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So then
Right.
you do it yourself. And
What's funny is you watch these shows, like these flip shows, and like they'll buy. There was one Windy City Renovations, and this lady goes in and buys these. They're not row homes, but they're close.
right.
They're really tight, 3-story old homes, like from the 20s, and they basically gut it. And I remember thinking as I watched, I was like, this makes sense if you get the house. I mean, I remember a guy saying something. This is years ago, reading this. It was before podcast, but he said you make money when you buy the house, not when you sell it. Meaning,
Right.
the lower you pay for the home, the more upside you have.
Right.
So, and you'll see these homes like this will work if you get it for nothing, or if you get it for half of retail or whatever,
Right.
and then you can afford to put whatever it is you're going to put into it. So it's interesting. Those shows, even the flipper shows, though, it's like this isn't. We saw I saw one time. This guy was a carpenter. And he was putting hardwoods in, and he kept having to go back and get more wood. And I remember I was like, yeah, I don't know what kind of carpenter that guy is, but he can't measure the floor. It was like floor. It was years ago. He kept saying, I have to go back and get it. But on all those shows, they have this tension factor where
Right.
it's time or it's money. There has to be something that complicates the project.
Right.
So, guy making multiple trips to get more hardwood.
Disagreement between two parties.
Right. We don't want to do this, so we're going to let you decide.
Right.
So, anyway, that was it.
That's it. That's all you got. I want to tell everybody they should watch the show, the Your Honor show.
Ooh, dark show.
Yeah, but not like bad dark, but like
No, but it's just not. I mean, the first 2 episodes they're setting it up to be something.
yeah. So it is entertaining and will keep you awake, and yeah, it's good. It's got the guy that I like that does
Is it Bryan Cranston?
yeah. Yeah, that's his name. That's right.
I think it's Brian. Isn't it Brian? What show did we just finish before we started Your Honor?
That was the
The
one
Undoing.
The Undoing. That's also worth watching, I feel like. But if you're looking for,
I thought the finale was a little weak, but
well, the finale might have been weak, but when you went back and researched, which you always do, the show, and you found out that they didn't tell them, the cast, what the final thing was going to be.
right.
I think that made all the difference in the world in terms of not knowing what the end result was, because sometimes you can read into it,
Right.
and you really could not read into it the entire time until the very last episode.
Although I thought it was weird because the character that Nicole Kidman plays is a psychotherapist, and it always cracks me up because in the whole show her name is Dr. Fisher, and everybody refers to her as Dr. Fisher, and you find out toward the end of the show that she is a doctor, but she's a PhD. But her husband in the show happens to be an actual MD, an oncologist.
Right.
So for whatever reason, I was thinking that she was like a psychiatrist or something, and it's kind of a psychological thriller. And
Yeah,
you
it's a
watch,
psychological
and
thriller.
you
It'd
get
be-
it, and you go, isn't that kind of your job to figure this stuff out? And you see this stuff? What kind of a person are you? with this?
So it was but it was good because it was a short series. It's not a long series.
It's only
It's
6 episodes? No.
yeah,
8?
and it's like its own show in the episode. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, in the season. It's like it's all wrapped up into one thing in
Yeah.
the season. My hairdresser Joni told me about that, and so we watched that one. And
And
then
it's-
Cindy here told me about Your Honor,
Yeah.
and then we started watching that one.
So, and the Undoing, though, one of the things that it was filmed pre-COVID, obviously. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's set in New York City, and they think they live in Manhattan. And it's interesting because you watch the show, and I told Emily after watching it, I was like, they really captured the population density of New York very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of grays. I mean, it's interesting how you look at that and I go, I could never live
Now
in a place
everyone's
like
moved
that.
out of New York City. So
Well, no, but I mean, it's interesting. I mean, because
just kidding.
no one has a car. You have to have drivers. And
Right.
you have to,
They all have drivers,
and they
that's
walk
right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of the parts of the show, one of the characteristics of Nicole Kidman's character, she walks all over the place to calm herself or whatever, and I was laughing. I go, yeah, no one ever gets mugged on her walk, so she's walking all these terrible places. Anyway,
So anyway, those are good if you're looking for something.
right, these dark days in the first quarter of every year.
To binge watch or whatever. Those are two interesting shows.
Yeah, so we're only a couple episodes
Lisa
in.
Sidner said that she loves the Your Honor show.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
it is. It's woo.
It's so funny because we watch the show and there's two things. The show starts off with two events, and I told her, I was like, you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. I mean, you know this is what's gonna
Cindy was
happen.
laughing. She's like, I don't know why people do what they do. She's like, I just, it makes me sit there and shake my head.
I know, right?
She's like, don't do that. Don't do that. And so,
And you can see it's so funny because you see like one
the
of opening-
foreshadowing.
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's
what they
like,
call
okay,
it, right?
This
Foreshadowing.
never ends. There's only one reason to have that shot.
Right.
It's because this is
This
going to
is
happen.
going to happen. Yeah.
So,
Oh gosh.
and that's actually set in New Orleans, and then part of it takes place in the Ninth Ward.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a good job of capturing that too. Although that's the way the Ninth Ward looks. It's all just grid because it's so flat down there.
Yeah.
And all the rectangular shaped homes on blocks and stuff. So it's interesting.
Now, if you want to watch a movie that you want to stab your eyes out when you watch it, that'd be Good Burger, which Calvin
Good
made me.
burger.
Calvin,
No. Backstory.
Calvin made
was
me watch
watching.
last night, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Calvin was
I'm
watching Henry.
literally becoming more stupid
Was
as
Henry
I'm
Danger?
watching this movie. Henry Danger.
And-
He loved Henry Danger, which is something I think
That
Holden
show's
said he
bad.
grew up with.
It's bad.
Well, Henry Danger's bad, but at least
They're
it's,
both bad, but Henry Danger is like
At least it's not Rabbit, whatever, the Rabbit show where it's like,
rabbit.
yeah, it's the one where Rabbit. Oh, what's it called?
Max and Ruby.
No, Rabid. Oh shoot, what's the name of it? And it's these like non-specific characters that are not really talking, but they're performing action.
What show is
It's
this?
on Netflix. It's really bad.
Oh,
Anyway, so he picked. Yeah, that's it. Harrison, right there.
Raboids?
Whatever
Rabbids?
that is. It's horrible. Don't ever even turn it on because it's probably entertaining to kids, and that's why it's popular on Netflix.
Well,
but
it's
don't
funny
go down that
watching
rabbit,
Henry Danger.
that rabbit hole.
Do you? Huh? There you
I
go.
will say this game is fantastic though.
Which one?
And it's Super Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Harrison, do you remember when Miley Cyrus was on SNL and she was on there and they were making fun of the Disney Channel and they said, all you have to do is come on here and yell your lines. I go, I know. And it was, don't you remember that? Yeah. Anyway, I was reminded of that show because one of the characters, all she does is yell.
In what? Henry Danger?
Yeah, his sister. All she does is, every line is like top of your lungs yell,
Yelling.
and it's just stupid. Anyway,
I will say Good Burger was a great movie back in the day.
No, it was not, Harrison.
I'd
It
have to
was
watch it. I've
horrible.
never seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. It's just stupid humor. It's just stupid stuff,
Slapstick.
like stuff that doesn't happen. It'd be like Airplane. Like
Right.
where they're like, okay, everyone, assume the crash landing position, and they're all on top of each other, and
Right.
and not, like you're thinking crash landing, you're sitting down with your thing, and they're all over the seats. You know what I'm talking about on Airplane.
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, Lord help me, Harrison, pull up the Airplane.
I want to watch
Movie.
Friday. I've heard that was good.
Friday.
You ever seen Friday, Harrison, with Ice Cube and one of the guys that was in the movie passed away recently, and there was a clip of him in the movie, and I was like, I have to watch. This is hysterical.
Okay, well, Airplane. One of the funniest parts of Airplane was when the stewardess is on the
Stewardess, that's a
what-
throwback. The stewardess,
Okay, well, I don't know.
flight attendant.
Flight attendant was on the microphone going, all right, everyone, assume your positions for crash landing. And then they all are like all over the place, like as if they crashed. So like where are they at when you crash? There's somebody on top of a seat, somebody like sprawled over here, somebody sprawled over here. And so it's just like that kind of humor. Good Burger is that kind of humor.
Got it.
He's like
Naked Gun type stuff.
yes, Naked Gun stuff.
Although you have to admit, the Naked Gun, the first movie, was hysterical.
Well, I mean, that might be the point that Harrison's making, right? Is that might be their generation of
Right.
Naked Gun, or like their funny things are relevant to them,
Right.
and so, yeah.
Isn't it funny that you watch movies though, and they're sometimes funny when you watch them, but they're almost more humorous when you go back and watch them again, or you run through the things in your mind, or you're talking to somebody, go, hey, you'll make a reference, and then it's really funny.
Well, I always like those movies that do things that then you laugh about because nobody's ever doing that. Like in the the movie that Trevor likes with the
There's only like 3 movies he likes. Jingle All the Way?
singing one with
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Oh,
no,
boy.
God, no. Oh,
That movie was
gosh.
bad. It's like-
Hairspray.
Oh, that was a good
And
movie, though.
the pregnant ladies are walking, or no, the girls, the high school
They're
girls
walking
are walking
past the bar, and these 3
there's
pregnant
these
ladies
3
are having
pregnant ladies
martinis
are in there with
and smoking.
martinis and smoking. I mean, like, that's hilarious to me. That's like
Right.
funny. It's like making fun of,
It's like
kind of
indirect humor, though.
yeah,
You have to catch it.
right.
Yeah.
And so I always like, and I think some of the other places like Star Wars, they do a really good job of that, where it's like it's not meant to necessarily to be humorous, but then it is interpreted as that.
Right.
And so like weaving that into script writing, I think is really clever.
You know who else did a good job of that was SpongeBob.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I would watch
Yeah.
that and just be doubled out. It's so freaking funny.
yeah.
I mean,
SpongeBob.
and
is-
this is, you go, a 9-year-old's not going to get this, but an adult's going to get this,
Right.
understand what this means.
yeah.
There was one. Yeah. Anyway, they're so funny. The first movie was good. The second one, not so much.
Oh, I don't even know if I ever watched the whole SpongeBob movie.
The first SpongeBob movie is very funny.
Yeah, no, I
So-
don't know if I ever watched that.
But
That
yeah,
would have
the
been
second-
Harrison's age.
I remember watching with Harry.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Trying to think what else. He liked Good Burger. How did he hear about Good Burger?
I think it just came up on the Netflix feed. Like, you liked this, so you might like this. You know, kind of a thing.
Oh,
Like, you
yeah,
know how
yeah.
they say that, like, hey, you watch this, you might like this show or whatever. And
You know,
so,
and this is a throwback. You'll appreciate this.
because it's Nickelodeon too.
Well,
so that's what I was gonna say. Henry Danger's Nickelodeon. So because
Yeah.
he was watching that probably
I came across an article the other day about Nickelodeon, how it started and how it came about, and it was fascinating because I remember it as a kid. You remember getting slimed and the kids would get
Oh,
slimed,
yes.
and they actually got paid like $50 extra if they got slimed per episode.
Uh-huh.
So the kids want to do it, because they get paid a little bit extra. But it started off as this thing like the host was there as somebody admin. She wasn't even trying out for the show, and the dark hair girl, I don't know who it was, but they were talking about how it was considered too gross, but it was wildly popular with kids. You can't do that on television. And
Right.
then the network and how these kids were just kind of there messing around after school. They didn't shoot during the day; they shot after school, and they became these celebrities. They would go to these places, like, "Hey, I play this weird character or whatever."
Right.
And how Nickelodeon then became this huge powerhouse of kids programming and
Yeah.
everything. But it almost started off as an accident.
yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I
Speaking
think
of, I think a NFL game was broadcasted actually on Nickelodeon for the first time ever, and they kind of
Oh, there was, 'cause
they
I
kind
saw
of-
the host.
They made it Nickelodeon-esque. So like the field goal, there
Yeah.
was like SpongeBob, like a SpongeBob banner
Yes.
was in the middle of the field goal, and if they made
Really?
a field goal, they
Yes,
slimed
they
it.
did.
And they
It
said
was-
that, and they said that they had record viewing. For,
yeah, I
for the
feel like
football
it
game.
kids?
was. I feel like
Yep.
it was a wild card game.
Might have been, but
That they did that because the guys that I were watching said, "Oh, it's so cool. You have Nickelodeon over there," and they fanned to Nickelodeon, and the two
Right.
hosts that were hosting on Nickelodeon were like, "Hey," kind of a thing,
Yeah.
waving at them. But I didn't realize.
It was being broadcast.
And then the guys that I was watching said they put it through Nickelodeon so you can see, and they showed like a brief thing. But I didn't realize they did that the entire game. That they made it
trying to expand their audience.
Nickelodeon-esque.
God knows they probably need a greater audience.
But that's interesting. So you could actually have watched it through Nickelodeon's page. Yeah, see the.
So
weird.
so like when somebody would score a touchdown, they'd have these like virtual slime, things, cannons.
Anyway,
It's like
clever.
like the XFL.
The XFL, and in the XFL, they would look at they put the eyes on the
I thought football was boring this
in the
weekend.
XFL they would have actually slimed them.
Right.
They would have actually been slimed.
I remember it's so funny in light of all the concussion stuff when they did that about 20 years ago. The XFL, they're like, "There's no fair catch." I'm like, "You're gonna get murdered because you couldn't catch the ball." And
Right.
I was like, "Yeah, no one's gonna be catching the ball."
I didn't think the games this weekend were that boring, but I'm a
I thought
football
the
fan,
Bucks game
so
was bad. It was just slow.
yeah.
I mean, it was 20-10, but it was 10-3. It was just a boring game. Nothing. really
Okay,
happened in the
so
second half.
let's do an over under Tom Brady Super Bowl. If he's going to the Super Bowl, and does he win the Super Bowl?
I have no
Yes,
idea.
no, maybe so.
I don't know. Expect the unexpected. If 21, I don't know.
Okay, you got to vote. You do this every time I ask you. You've got to say yes or no, and yes or no. Going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'll answer.
Oh
it.
my gosh, it's a branch.
No. I'm going to answer it.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't think that Brady would have gone to a team that wasn't capable of making it to the Super Bowl in the first place at his age. He's probably looking for one last hurrah. So so my guess is they're probably capable of going to the Super Bowl. What?
That still wasn't a yes or no answer.
Home, everybody.
What are you talking about? No, that's not true.
Okay. No, you're just so like
Because it's more
like,
nuanced than yes or no.
It isn't really. You're saying all that in your head, so that's a yes.
No,
I'm gonna answer
okay,
for you.
okay.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that they have surprised to the upside enough this year that I think it's very possible they go to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so yes, going to the Super Bowl. Does he win it? The Super Bowl.
I don't know.
That's okay. Yes or no? You have to vote one or the other.
It depends. Who are they going to play?
It doesn't matter. Who? Yes or
Of
no?
course, it matters.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Does
yeah,
Tom
it does.
Brady? No, I'm just.
If Brady has lost before, then it matters, and he has.
Okay, so yes or no? Yes, he goes to the Super Bowl. We got you to commit to that. And
I'd say no to both.
no. Oh, you're changing your answer.
Yeah, I'd say no. I said capable. I didn't say he
Right.
would. I would say no to both, only because I thought they didn't beat the Saints. I mean, they looked really bad the first half of that
I did.
game.
I thought so too. Okay, so
I
you're
thought that they
going
were getting
no
rolled.
and no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they beat.
Okay, hold. What? Okay, so you're saying no and no?
I would say no and no.
No and no.
I don't think they
Harrison.
get past the Packers.
Okay, Harrison. Yes to Super Bowl or no to Super Bowl? Yes to winning or no to winning?
I will say, yeah, I think the Bucks will go to the Super Bowl.
Okay, and are they
Really?
winning?
I don't think they'll win.
Okay, I'm gonna go no. They are not going to the Super Bowl. Maybe that's what I'm hoping. I'm going with a no. And
I just
if
thought they
they
looked really
do
weak the
go,
first
then
half.
I'm going with a no. They don't win.
God, it's a tough way. You'd almost rather lose before you get there.
Yep.
I thought it
All
was
right.
sad because Breeze that was his last game pretty
We've
much.
got-
and this
I know.
has got to be Brady's probably last hurrah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go one more.
One more season, one more year. Breeze, I think, is done.
Has he said publicly?
Well, they kept saying like throughout the playoffs that he's got a broadcasting career waiting for him.
Right.
So they kept saying it. I'm like, they never really talk about it unless it's like a thing. Like I feel like anyway, they don't. So I felt like they were
Which
kind
is
of
a very, very
predicting.
good gig.
Yeah, it is.
When Gruden went back to coach, I'm like, they must have made him an offer that he just simply could not turn down. I mean, because you get paid a lot of money to go basically talk.
Right.
I mean, there's some travel involved, but you're talking. And whereas if you do, I mean, I read his book years ago, and I mean, the hours they put in to prepare, it's insane. I mean,
Yeah,
they never
right.
go home. They can't go home during the season.
Yeah.
There's no way. He would talk about what they had to do, and it's like, good Lord. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's fascinating to see the amount of time that goes into those positions.
Right.
But yeah,
Well, I think that's
good for him though. I think he's had a
so-
really good
so,
career.
Dad, what is your final answers on the Super Bowl?
I think no. I don't think they get past the Packers.
He says no.
I don't think and they did not look good enough to me the first half to suggest that they could go against somebody an order of magnitude better than them. And,
Well,
and
it's Bills Packers, right? Is that right, Harrison?
no,
Bills
there's only
Pa-
4 teams left.
Bills Packers and Chiefs and
Bills,
Tampa Bay.
Bills and Chiefs.
oh no, Bills and Chiefs and Green Bay. Yeah,
In that
Tampa Bay.
I'd give the Chiefs that game.
I just think from experience probably, but I really want the Bills to win because it's just like a storybook kind of thing. They haven't
Right.
been there in forever, and it would be
Right.
really cool if they did. But
Yeah, it is kind of cool. That's the only thing that's boring about these dynasties is I remember thinking about, I've said this before on here. I remember when the Bulls were winning every year. It's like, come on. I mean, it's boring. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, if you're a fan, great. But if you're a fan of any other team, it's like, okay, somebody else. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it, but still, it's boring.
Have you guys seen what the Bills fans call themselves?
yeah,
The Bills Mafia.
yeah, the Bills
And how
Mafia.
insane they are.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
pull
the
up,
Bills
I'm gonna
Mafia.
pull up
Like
a video real
Oakland.
quick. Hold on.
They do really cool things though. It's neat. It's like they have their own like organization, if you will, I suppose. I was watching a story on it.
Good God.
So they
We used to use tickets. We used to go to the games
This is a
occasionally.
girl, by the way.
They're throwing on the table. Oh my God. Oh,
oh jeez.
and you go to the game after that?
pregame.
Oh, jeez.
These are the Bills fans.
My guy's on
He's
fire.
like, oh shit, I'm on fire.
Idiot.
Oh my gosh.
They're going to fight. Oh, my word.
Okay.
Right. That's
Yeah,
dumb.
no, that's not the story that I saw. I saw a feel-good story about the Bills Mafia.
I like going to games, but I don't like them that much.
They're pretty intense. They're probably, though, the Patriot fans and the Bills fans could probably, like, do some, like,
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this yesterday, and I've thought this way ever since college. There were so many people that would camp out for tickets, students. They'd go to every game, and I remember thinking, I can watch it for free right on the television.
right?
If I want a beer, I
I
go to the
think
refrigerator.
people think the experience, like being
No, I
part
get
of
that. Someone said they're like, yeah, but I'm not there. I was like, I guess. I don't know. I never liked the crowds and all that nonsense. Especially in the student section, you're sandwiched in there, and if there's any kind of hot weather at all, you're burning up, and it's just, never mind.
Yeah.
So,
You just don't like that.
nope. I never really have, though.
Nope.
I'd much rather just watch it at home.
So,
You never did either, though. You never.
no, I like watching the games because I like listening to the commentators.
Yeah, I like the replay and all that stuff.
Um,
So anyway, that's what. Yeah. So a lot of good football this weekend.
yeah, and the Super Bowl then is in a couple weeks. So,
Yeah, we national championship was last week, and Saban with the secret sauce won again.
yep. Yeah.
Whatever they're paying him, it's not enough.
It's probably what he thinks.
He's
Really.
like $9 million a year. I mean, something insane.
Yeah, I'm just glad that all the kids got to play and they
Yeah.
were able to,
He's probably the one dynasty that doesn't bother me. Because I think at that level it's almost impossible to go back to back or have. He's the most winningest coach ever. I mean, in
Yeah.
terms of national championships with 7.
2 different schools and
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. He has a really cool story though. That's probably why I like him. So he's like 70 years old and still killing it. And just whatever. Yeah. Anyway, it was a good game. I really thought Ohio State would give him more trouble, but they didn't.
I did
Sure
too.
didn't.
After I watched Ohio State the first game, I thought they would give them more trouble.
I bet Clemson had a bad day. Something had. They just rolled over them way too easy. I mean, Clemson was no joke.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so should we wrap up the podcast there?
there's something else we're going to talk about. Maybe not.
You don't remember?
I can't remember what we're going to talk about. Covered just about everything.
So we're into 40 minutes, so probably a good idea.
Okay, got it.
So everybody, don't forget, next week we're going to be on different Facebook page.
Yep.
You can check us out on Five Boys in a Business, its own podcast channel. Don't forget to check out the clips. Yeah.
That's it. Excited. Big things happen in 2021.
Hopefully so. So, Harrison, do you have anything to add with that?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Awesome.
So we will catch everybody next Monday.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a little push this week to remind everybody that. But thanks, everybody, for listening. And I'm Emily King.
I'm Richie King.
And we'll catch you next time on Five Boys in a Business.
We're out.